We are Nican Tlaca, the indigenous people of this continent. Who are we as a people? Our origins are in the human race. The human race that has spread itself across our planet. We came to this continent, Semanahuac, 30 to 50,000 years ago. We spread ourselves across our continent. We lived in densely populated areas that had a total population of over 100 million people throughout our continent before 1492. The majority of our Semanahuac population in 1492 was living in large cities and large towns and not living as tribal people, as we have been told. We had hundreds of languages and dialects, civilizations and cities, and small wandering tribes. We had 5 cities larger than any city of Europe: Tenochtitlan, Cusco, Texcoco, Tlaxcala, Cholula, Huachotzinco were larger than Paris or London or any city in Europe. We varied in our civilizations, in our cultures, and in our art, but we had common origins in one race. We had common culture in our worldview, our scientific minds, in our use of corn, in our methods of trade, and our understanding that we were all one people of one creator with many manifestations in our lives. We varied in height, in head shape, nose size. Our shades of color varied and depended on our geographical location and on our various climates that were affected by the low deserts and the heights of mountains and the vast jungles and the grass plains of our continent. We were not black. We were not white. We were and are Nican Tlaca, the indigenous people of this continent. We were one people, one family of civilizations and tribes. We are still one people. We are Nican Tlaca, the indigenous people of this land. Our civilization origins go back to 3700 BC in the Supe-Caral area in Tahuantinsuyo, in what is falsely called South America. Here we founded our first civilization of our continent. Somewhere between 2300 BC and 1800 BC, we founded our Olmec civilization in Anahuac, in what is falsely called North America. From these two origins came our major civilizations: Zapotec, Teotihuacan, Maya, Mexica, Adena, Anasazi, and Hopewell in Anahuac. And Supe-Caral, Xadin, Moshe, Tiahuanaco, and Inca in the southern part. Collectively, we are the people of Semanahuac. We had great accomplishments that came out of our civilizations. In astronomy, we had knowledge of eclipses, lunar cycles, Venus cycles, and more. In mathematics, we had point placement, the abacus, and we were the first people to develop the concept of zero. In writing, we developed hieroglyphic, pictographic, and the Quipu rope writing systems. In calendar making, we developed a calendar more accurate than the European calendar that we are using today. In engineering, we constructed aqueducts, bridges, dikes, and roads. In medicine, we had surgery, pharmacology, concepts of hygiene and physical therapy, and more. In education, we had mandatory education for males and females. We had libraries in every major city for the use of our universities. We had hospitals that were free to our people. We had commerce that used money systems, tax systems, regulation of marketplaces and trade. We had universities that trained for the professions of our astronomers, mathematicians, doctors, surgeons, engineers, architects, and leaders. We had philosophy that was logical, theological, scientific, and for social improvement. We had history that was written, pictorial, sculptural, poetic, oral, and part of our everyday language. We had agriculture that developed corn, chinampas, irrigation, and terracing that improved yields. We had a legal system with courts, judges, and lawyers that was based on justice and not on the corruption that was the European legal system in 1492. We had accomplishments in art and architecture that are the hallmarks and the icons of our civilization. All of this should be the common knowledge of our people and of the whole world, but it is not. This is the truth of who we were before 1492, before the terrorist and genocidal invasions of the Europeans began. We were democratic, egalitarian, socially responsible civilizations and cultures. We were a people of knowledge and courage. We were a people of honor and dignity. We were a people embracing our Creator as the reality and the science that is all around us. We were not a people of faith, belief, or delusion. We were a people of science. We were not a perfect people. We were constantly working to improve ourselves individually and as a society. We had warrior societies of men and of women who guided our lives with knowledge, enlightenments, and discipline. Our laws were harsh, but just and equally applied. We were collective in our thinking and in how we lived our lives. We knew that no one does anything by themselves. We are all dependent upon one another from the point of conception to the point of our last breath. We should be proud of all of this world of our ancestors. It is good for us to know all of this. It is good to love our people. It is good to love ourselves. All of this is good because it shows that we were once capable of inventing, creating civilizations, accomplishing intellectual tasks, having great scientific insights into the world all around us. It is good to know all of this because it will help us to reconstruct ourselves as a Nican Tlaca Semanawak nation, a proud, knowledgeable Nican Tlaca Semanawak nation. We will be a free and independent Nican Tlaca Semanawak nation in the next 100 years. Have no doubt of that. We will reconstruct ourselves as Nican Tlaca because our minds will be filled with this knowledge of our ancestors. Our minds filled with all of this knowledge will bring fire to our hearts, discipline to our hearts, beauty into our hearts, and love of our people into our hearts. This should be who we are already, but we are not. We have suffered a Holocaust and an ongoing genocide. We should be proud. We should be proud, but we fear knowledge. We should be proud, but we fear the white man's disapproval. We should be proud, but we fear liberation. We fear the truth and beauty of loving our people. As the descendants of all of these great civilizations and all of this immensity of accomplishment, we fear the responsibility of being free from white supremacy, the white supremacy in our lives. Instead of loving freedom, wanting freedom, we have been taught to love our lives as slaves of the white race. We live as slaves, as cowards, materialistic, selfish people, loving the gangster culture, drug addicted, sports and music escapists, TV and party all the time people, and in general, a self-hating people. All of that has been made into our lives from the last 500 years of the white supremacy that rules our lives. We fear the knowledge and success of liberation because mentally we have been culturally castrated. Culturally castrated means that we are not able to reproduce ourselves in the full humanity of our civilizations and cultures. We need to remedy that cultural castration, and we need to confront all of the ignorance and white supremacist mentalities that are even in our own families, in our own minds. People ask, if we were so great and all of that with civilizations and accomplishments, cities and books and all of that, what happened to us? Seems no one has bothered to tell us of our great accomplishments to begin with, but they have also kept other things a secret. You see, Europeans, the white race, needed to hide all of our accomplishments about cities and civilizations and other beautiful things about our people because they knew that the question of, if we were so great and all of that with civilizations and accomplishments, cities and books and all of that, what happened to us? They knew the answer would be found eventually. Eventually has arrived.